A very good morning and a warm welcome, Dr. Avinash sir. Dear friends, these COVID times have taught us the education sector a variety of lessons. But learning is continuous process, and for continuous learning, policy environment, higher education is no concept, no exception. To share this teaching learning concept, we have with us today Professor Dr. Avinash Kumar Srivastava, who is the Director of CSIR Advanced Materials and Process Research Institute, Bhopal, and is also President of Electron Microscope Society of India. A very warm welcome, sir. Dear friends, I take this opportunity to introduce this gentleman to you. Dr. Avinash Srivastava has contributed significantly in the field of processing characterization policies and has received his MSc degree from IIT Roorkee, MTech from IIT Kanpur, and PhD in from metallurgy from IIC Bangalore. He has contributed significantly in various projects in the areas of advanced materials pertaining. Talking about his contribution in research and academics, he has published more than 250 research articles in reputed international journals, more than 200 papers, and invited talks in different scientific meetings. He was instrumental in establishing analytical high resolution transmission electron microscope facilities, which became an important part for the Center for Nanoscale Science at CSIR, New Delhi. He has also served as coordinator of National Mirror Working Group on Measurement and Characterization of Bureau of Indian Standards, and his work on advanced materials pertaining to growth and characterization has been cited in the world's leading scientific websites of USA and Asia and UK. To cut it short, dear friends, he has large number of awards, national and international fellowships, and is renowned member of various scientific and technical societies and is very much involved in other scientific and professional activities. I extend a heartfelt welcome to you, sir, and we are grateful that despite of your so much busy schedule, you could take a time to address our gatherings. Over to Avinash, sir. And we have with us our honorable director, sir, also, sir, Director Shyam Sundar Patnaik, sir. He's with us, and a warm welcome from his side also.
Good morning to all of you. I think I am audible.
Yes, sir.
So, at the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me in this very important 5 days webinar on Atmanirbhar Bharat from privation to exuberance. I must thank Professor S.S. Patnaik, especially the director of NITTR Chandigarh, for inviting me, and Dr. Meenakshi Sood, who is coordinating. And the guest of honor today, we had Dr. Rajneesh Arora. I was listening him. खरगोश और कछुए की जो चाल है वो दोनों मिलके कितना अच्छा काम कर सकता है. It's a really great example. And then Dr. Harshvardhan, coordinator, and the organizers, Professor Singh. I thank everybody. And I'm sure that during this pandemic situation of COVID-19, this is the best way to utilize and further educate our youngsters and sometimes ourselves too by various means. Not that we always educate others. We have to give pause and try to educate ourselves also. That's very important. Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self-reliant India, is the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. The first mention of this came during the announcement of the coronavirus pandemic related package on 12th May 2020, if I am right. But at later, it is also stated that self-reliant India does not mean cutting off from rest of the world. That's very important. Self-reliant India translates to being a bigger and more important part of the global economy. So that is important. Has been said and emphasized by our Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of Swadeshi has ultimately led to the concept of self-reliance as a major objective of Indian planning. And he said, Gandhiji said that self-reliance is the key to success. So we have been thinking in this direction. We have been contributing also in this direction. Sometimes speed may be slow, sometimes it's fast, but definitely the scientists, engineers, educationists, they are all trying to contribute in this direction. Only thing, maybe some more planning and systematic approach is required. So although I'm going to talk on here composite materials based on advanced processes, a step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. But in that presentation itself, my I'll just connect to my PPT. Yeah. Mm. So first four slides, I'll talk on social learning as the theme says in today's meeting. So first few minutes I'll devote on that, maybe few seconds, simply because my lecture is planned under this theme. Although I'm not an expert of this social learning field, but just from my experiences and some literature which I have got in a very short time. So I belong to Advanced Materials and Process Research Institute. It's a constituent lab of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research in Bhopal. And this lab is dedicated to do research on materials and processes. And this is the only CSIR lab in entire Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. So social learning, when we say why human behaves the way they do, is it due to individual personality or is it some private functioning due to private or personal due to social or external conditions? It is result of reciprocal interaction between one's behavior and controlling conditions. Or social theory, behavior theory proposes that learning new behaviors are acquired by observing and imitating others, a real world learning. For example, a boy learns to fix cycles and motorbike from observing and imitating the owner. Bill Gates learned to code at the age of 12. Students motivated by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam as role model to better ourselves. In India, we used to say some kids are street smart. How do they learn what they know? So these are all very complex things, complex but simple things, which we have to think under social learning. Human behavior determines the personal factors like knowledge, expectations, attitude, environmental factors like social norms, access in community, influence on others, and then behavior aspects, factors like skills, practice, self-efficacy, and integral behavior. And the personal theory of learning says that there are four different parameters which are very important. Attention, learners must pay attention. Retention, what we remember, what is remained with us. Then reproduction, demonstrate learning, and motivation. Motivation is very important, and it could be by the others, by through your mentors, or from yourself. Personal motivation, self motivation, which we say, or the motivation by the others. So motivation finally becomes very important, and that leads a person from different heights to different heights. So important points here are humans are built for cultural learning. We all know that. Age of what we have learned matters. For example, which we learn at school stage or by your mother or father in very early age, we remember always. But sometimes when our teachers teach in classroom, after the class is over, we forget that. So age is very much matters, and also how much we focus on that, how much our attention is there. That is important. We have got to put our learning into practice, and without direction and guidance, it's very important. I have taken this point from somewhere. My apologies that I'm not giving reference here. But without direction and guidance, humans will probably go in the wrong direction. So direction and guidance at stages may not be punching direction and punching guidance, but the humble direction and guidance are very important for a human being to go in the right direction. In today's world, personal learning environments and future of electronic based learning has become very important. You can see through popular media, to colleagues, and print digital media, photo sharing. I mean, the students, if they are here, they must be knowing much better than what I am going to tell you. What I am in this slide, I've shown that they are all like Twitter, Facebook, and all those things. So electronic based learning has become very important. Webinar is also one of them. And during COVID-19, we are realizing more that about the electronic based learning. Various schools and colleges have already started their sessions, and they are totally based on electronic based. So with this brief about the social learning, capturing few points related to today's theme, I'm going to talk on materials. First about the institute where I am. So we have uh, 7 different departments. That is advanced construction materials, lightweight metallic materials, radiation shielding and cement-free concrete, integrated approach for design and development, water resource management and rural development, smart and functional materials, and information technologies. Then the right side is mainly administrative departments, engineering services, human resource, and so on. But mainly, whatever we are doing, as I said in the beginning, a step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. That you will realize after a few slides. In these departments, 7 departments, what I said, we are working on metallic foams for automobile applications, biological applications, defense applications, lightweight carbon foam for energy storage, simulation studies, construction of hybrid lightweight polymer composites using waste, sandwich composites, fiber reinforced composites. Then we are in waste to wealth, like we use fly ash and red mud. Fly ash, it's available in millions of tons in the thermal power plants, and there is no taker. And then red mud is from the alumina industry. Again, millions of tons every year. Very little has been utilized, and still the waste is available in plenty. So we are trying to utilize that waste, and using that waste, we are making several composites. Then shape memory alloys, actuators, electromagnetic manufacturing. Then shape memory polymer composites, we are using graphene-based composites. Then many new processes like additive manufacturing, value-added products using bamboo. Bamboo is again a grass, and it's available in millions of hectares land in India itself. And except the raw bamboo, nobody is able to convert it into the useful products, which we have now done it, and the technology is already in the industry. So what are composites basically? Composites are multi-phase materials that is artificially made by mixing two different phases, where is matrix is uh, continuous and dispersed phase is discontinuous surrounded by matrix. Matrix phase purposes are to transfer stress to dispersed phase, protect dispersed phase from environment, and these are the matrix phases are metal, ceramic, polymer. So you can say metal matrix composite, ceramic matrix composite, polymer matrix composite. Dispersed phases purposes are in metal matrix composites increase yield strength, tensile strength, ceramic matrix composite, the fracture toughness, and polymer matrix composite is young modulus and so on. The types of the dispersion phase are particle, fiber, structure, and matrix are metal, ceramic, polymer. So the composites can be classified as particle reinforced composite, fiber reinforced composite, and structural composites. I will not go further into details of branching of that. So at CSIR Ampere, we are having four different of composites, polymer matrix composites from natural fiber composites like sisal plant, bamboo, grass, carbon fiber hierarchical composites, and hybrid green composites. Ceramic matrix composites, we have geopolymer, radiation shielding composites, metal matrix composites, we are having aluminum matrix composites, multi-layered composites, and nano composites, we have graphene metal composites, shape memory polymer composites, CNT silicon carbide metal matrix composites, and foams. Now these pictures are somewhere from the literature again. I did not put reference, so my apologies. But I tell you that the metal matrix composites are very important for naval applications. Here objective is to weight reduction, improved fuel efficiency, speed, payoff load, better life, and solution is replacement of cast iron and steel components as much as possible to improve corrosion resistance and erosion resistance in tanks, storage vessels, pipes, ships, and submarine. Now, aluminum matrix composite, if we talk in advantages in shipbuilding, is to increase speed and size of boats, yards, ferries, etc., higher load capacities, translate extra traffic volume, improve fuel efficiency, seaworthiness, safety, and reliability, and reduce maintenance costs, weight savings from 35 to 40%, maybe more than that, increase vessel volume and height without loss of stability, and so on. It has several required characteristics like we have good corrosion resistance, fire resistance, retardant, higher specific strength, stiffness, impact toughness, and damping capacity. So the advantages basically, if we draw from the mathematical point of view and from the experimental data, density of the aluminum matrix composite can be reduced up to one-third of steel. It's resistant to weather, common atmospheric gases and liquids. Strength is quite good, and maintaining its toughness system down to very low temperatures, fair workability and formability, improved abrasion and wear resistance, modulus enhanced from 70 to 240 GPa when we are in composite form, and a good thermal expansion coefficient. So vulnerable components could be made from metal matrix composites like pipes, valves, pumps, blowers, propellers, stirrers, stirred vessels, flow measuring orifices, turbine blades, nozzle, baffles. You need in propeller high strength, high impact resistance, high stiffness, high erosion and corrosive wear resistance, high corrosion resistance, machinable formality. We need all these things, and the composites which we are making, they suffice this kind of information. Then the brake drums we can have, and similar to that, various components which we can make. And so far, these components are being brought, they are being imported from various countries. Now, coming to closed cell aluminum foam, um, aluminum foam core steel face sandwich panels for doors and hulls can be made. Even building structures can be made. I'll come to again to this slide. Yeah, the aluminum matrix composites um, by stair casting and in situ technology, 60 kilogram per batch we can make in lab. I'm talking about in lab. And then brake drum, nose cone, piston, connecting rods, we have demonstrated. And the technology is transferred also. But still we are in continuous advancements of these technologies. This is very much important for automobile, defense, aerospace, and general engineering. Closed cell aluminum foams, 100 kilogram per day we can make, we have demonstrated. Density can be varied from 0.2 to 0.8 gram per cc with very high porosity, very good sound absorption. And again, in auto industries like for crash worthiness, weight reduction, sound and vibration control. Then in defense, it's very important for blast resistance, armors, rail and shipbuilding. An open cell foam of nickel, copper, carbon and titanium. Then even aluminum, titanium, stainless open cell foams we can make. And titanium foam biomedical applications trials are going on animal and filters, heat sink, catalysts, batteries, capacitors, EMI shielding. So many applications are there, and on various applications we are working. We are filing our patents. So as far as metallic metals alloys composites are concerned, we have already more than 200 publications, and then patent we have more than 10. Then we have PhDs, MTech thesis, and technology licensed, and interaction with industries like Tata Motors, Mahindra, Next Motive, Ordnance Defense Factory, and so far 10 technologies are in very good technology readiness level, that is TRL, more than 4. As I said, connecting rods, brake drums, these are from high strength aluminum and magnesium alloys. They are composites, nano composites. Aluminum foams are again important for automobiles, bumpers, crash box, door inserts, and so on. We also do the various simulation studies to check and verify and authenticate our experimental observations, and very good simulation work is also being done in the laboratory. Now coming to graphene, that is one allotrope of carbon, and graphene is like a sheet structure having honeycomb design with carbon atoms on these vertices of the hexagonal networking, and you have single layer graphene, multi-layer graphene. The advantage of graphene is it is having the highest surface area, 100 times stronger than steel, very good tensile strength, very good Young's modulus, and very good thermal conductivity. So, and electrical properties. So, all these important properties makes graphene an ideal reinforcing agent in today's world. We have done this to some extent. We have used the SS as a base matrix material, stainless steel, and we incorporated graphene using 3D printing, additive manufacturing, because liquid metallurgy is not a good option for making composites using graphene. So electromagnetic forming is another technique to join the dissimilar metals like SS niobium, SS titanium, and all, where you have a very thin interface with very little disturbance compared to the welding process. So this is the another advanced processing technology which CSIR Ampri Bhopal is having, and it's we are having projects with the atomic energy and aerospace related, where the joining is a bit concerned, and we are trying to make different components for them. Then additive manufacturing, as I said, the graphene we added in stainless steel, and you can see the rods, different kind of rods we have already prepared. And probably we are the first in the country, sorry to say, to boost ourselves, but this is the fact I am telling you. We have published graphene metal composite materials paper in international journal like additive manufacturing having impact factor more than 6, and material science engineering, and so on. So you can go through those papers if somebody is interested in working on these new areas. That is why I said here. Then, as I said, hybrid composites from fibers and waste particulates. We are working like particulates from waste, that is fly ash, red mud, marble waste, agro waste, and then renewable resources, natural fibers like jute, sisal, and so on, and then mix it in a very little amount of polymers. Uh, so although we say matrix is polymer, is basically the matrix is the particulates. It's just reverse. And the kind of the products which we are producing, it can replace the our teak wood. We can stop this kind of deforestation and use these alternate materials. So these are the products, these are the sheets about 6 foot by 3 foot, which we can make, and we are continuously making in our lab. And they can replace ply, they can replace teak wood. They are cheaper than these products, which are already in the market. And the strength is much better. I will not go into these graphs, that may take time. But definitely these the composites which we are making from the agro waste and the industrial waste like red mud and fly ash, the composites are much better than the already available particles. So advanced hybrid green composites, I covered a bit. So these are kind of the composites which we are making, and they have applications in door, wall tiles, partition, furniture, and architectural cladding panels, alternative for timber and also to avoid deforestation, fly ash and natural resources management, save environment, new class of material to the society. Production process is simple and energy saving, stronger than wood and synthetic wood. Durable and customized products can be made. Resistance to moisture, corrosion, termite free, fire self extinguishing nature, cost effective than teak wood, timber products, and synthetic wood, and maintenance free materials. We have already protected IPR. In all these technologies, what I am elaborating here, in most of the time, we have our own patents. So the opportunities are quite high using this hybrid green composite. At two places, we have already transferred our technologies like to Siddhi Polymetrics in Maharashtra. And using these chisel-based composites, we have just a year back, we transferred know-how to West Bengal government also under Manrega program, that is Mahatma Gandhi Rural Educational Employment Program for poor people, villagers. We have transferred this technology, and their officers also came here and they got trained from us. So you can see the kind of products which we are making, and these are the products like the size which you get in the lab, sorry, in the market. So in this case, we are running like a small factory in a national lab, I can tell you. These are some examples, the how you can use these composites in door, false ceiling, floor tile, wall tile, partition, roofing, furniture, etc. Now again, if I go back to naval ships history, we are interacting with the Indian Navy. So that's why I have some knowledge about the kind of material they require and what they are doing at present. So if you see 1970 to 1980, the emphasis was on glass fiber, polyester, PVC, so foam for magnetic structure, shock resistance, maintenance cost. Then 1990 to 2000, emphasis has gone on radar signature, weight reduction, of course, magnetic structure, shock resistance, maintenance cost. And now the materials have gone to carbon glass fiber, then PVC foam, weight optimization, and then also thinking about material cost. Then now in future, 2010 onwards, it is more or like fire resistance, ballistic protection, damage tolerance, and of course radar signature, weight reduction, magnetic structure, shock resistance, maintenance cost is there in mind. So now the materials are carbon glass fiber, then a variety of matrix systems, core materials, vacuum infusion, weight optimization, quality assurance, and expensive materials cost and all that is also taken care. So that is one story of that what kind of desire and thoughts are coming up from the Navy. But in addition to that, I showed our materials which are useful for various other purposes. So in general, this slide is simple but looks complex. That you have a demand in naval applications of various composites, starting from metal matrix composites, polymer matrix composites, ceramic matrix composites, because they suffice different requirement of the Navy. Lightweight, fiber reinforced polymer, fuel efficient, it should be high strength, then damping characteristics, very important. Then thermal insulation, higher stiffness, corrosion resistance, and so on. So it's not really a complex, but a systematic approach is always required to solve certain problems, whether it is private sector or strategic sector like Navy. Very recently, just a year back, we transferred one of our technologies to Messrs. Prince Johnson, and it is non-toxic lead-free radiation shielding materials. Non-toxic lead-free. It's made from red mud, again from the waste from alumina industry. Um, and it is accredited by Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, Mumbai, and also included as list of materials for making diagnostic X-ray rooms on their website. We are also coming up with the first Center for Advanced Radiation Shielding Materials uh, to upscale various non-toxic radiation shielding materials in the country. Technology of radiation shielding materials has already been, as I said, transferred to Messrs. Prince Johnson. Before that, it was transferred to Messrs. Assures. And we have patents here. And we have demonstrated this technology to one very big hospital of more than 200 beds in Maharashtra. That is Sai Deep Multi-Specialist Hospital, where in X-ray rooms, CT scan rooms, cath lab, etc., they have used our technology, this radiation shielding tiles, and it is again accredited by the NABS, that is the Hospital Accreditation Board, and they have got good rank. Then we have transferred one technology of geopolymer concrete, cement-free materials, that instead of cement, you can have an alternate material again made of fly ash, and using a special process, you can convert it in a material which is cement-free but works as cement. We already have 3 patents in this direction, and it is 100% replacement of cement, water curing free process, ready for use within a week, and bulk fly ash waste utilization. Environmental friendly because during the cement entire process, the equal amount of carbon dioxide almost is released, whereas in this case you can have 80% reduction in the release of carbon dioxide. So it's more friendly, user friendly, economically viable, and environmental friendly. We have demonstrated roads in our campus and also a patch of road in AIIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Bhopal, which is in use quite extensively. Then, as I said, we have developed a technology out of bamboo grass. Bamboo government has declared as a grass, so you can cut it, and it is available on millions of hectares land in India. And but the proper utilization of bamboo as a material product is not there so far. People are using bamboo definitely for making different things, especially in village areas. But when you have composite, you have a new word of utilization. So we have now transferred this technology again, just in last February this year, to a very big company. And now we are planning to have conference rooms, small meetings rooms, health clinic out of these bamboo composites which we have developed using our company partner. And once we have these things for demonstration which will be functioning, I'm sure that this market product will have a great market in the near future. And this product is again a replacement of teak wood also, and all kind of wood which you use, you get after cutting the trees. Using our nanomaterials, alumina nanoparticles, I tell you here that using alumina nanoparticles of gamma phase, we developed a water filter which is electricity free, and it is useful for removal of excess fluoride and excess arsenic. And
tell you it's basically adsorbent based technology, and here the particle size of alumina is about 15 to 20 nanometer. Within that, you have about 3 to 4 nanometers size. So it's a porous alumina nano particles used for water filter. So it's in use, and through two companies have taken this technology. One is Messrs. MW Social Enterprises. It's a Indore-based startup, and one established company, a Marcus Project Private Limited of Uttar Pradesh. This slide is repetition, so I'll skip this. Then we have from various waste we are making value-added products. This is another example. Um, sea sand, sea water, of course, is not a waste, but we are making advanced geopolymer tetrapods. But from copper ore tailings, we are making the paver blocks, which is useful for the construction of pathways, especially the footpaths, etc. Then this is graphene composite. I must say that we are in very good shape, and we are developing the graphene metal composites. We are also developing the 3D printing equipment at our premises. We are in planning. So there could be a good collaboration also with NITTER. Very recently, we published a paper in Nano Energy that has got impact factor more than 15, and it is being well cited. This is on graphene zinc silicate piezoelectric nano generators. So in short, I can tell you, even by tapping with your fingers, this the device can generate enough energy to charge your mobile, etc. So that is a kind of sensitivity level device we are making using the graphene and nanoparticles of zinc silicate. This paper is already in open literature. Having COVID-19 situation, our expertise got utilized there also, because having good chemical people and physics people and engineering background scientists, we developed sanitizer for daily use, but with extra care of skin, because people are scared of sanitizer now to some extent. People say it may spoil skin and all those things. So we have used some herbal ingredients, and now this know-how has also been transferred. We have also developed face mask for common purpose, and there is some special design, and so that is why again this is again transferred to industry, MW Social Enterprises, and face mask is already in the market uh, through MW Social Enterprises website. If somebody is interested further, can go and see the details. Now, so I covered geopolymeric coatings. This is very important for mild steel. This is prepared out of fly ash and many other ingredients, and is used in building construction, shipbuilding, large pipes for transportation of oil, gas, and water, etc. It's a corrosion and fire protective, inorganic, hybrid inorganic, organic in nature, based on solid state chemistry. No huge capital investment is required. The coating can be done by skilled labor using conventional techniques, and we already having patent in this direction. Then lead-free X-ray shielding I talked. This is again in use, and very soon the Prince Johnson is going to use this technology in very big hospitals in the country. Then we have one rural climatizer we have developed, made with aluminum foam, and the advantage is for farmers, for the people where you have the shortage of electricity and so on. Here you can use the metallic foam, and by using metallic foam you can have this kind of a refrigerator um, um, with a strength is quite good. I mean, as good as you use the normal refrigerator. So I'm not going to talk about that. But you can protect the vegetables and so on. You can storage, and the temperature trend is that ambient temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. Inside temperature will be 8. Ambient temperature is if it is 30, inside temperature will be 22. Estimated freshness days of your vegetables will be 5 days. So these are all practical observations which we have made, tested it for a long time, and the technology is ready for the industry to take it. Some discussions are already going on. Then Parali, you know, it's very closely touched to your area. It's a agro waste. It's a problem of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi. Especially problem starts from October to December, goes up to January. That Parali burning. So it's a waste, and we started working on this. Um, we took some samples in kgs from Haryana region villages and made the product out of that. So again, the technology is ready for the industries to take it and make a small industries in Haryana and Punjab and use this parali waste to make it composite, which is again a replacement of teak wood and all. So housing for housing purposes, furnitures, and so on, this technology is very useful. So with this, I conclude and I stop my presentation here. We are interacting with the academic institutes, industries, national labs, and strategic partners like defense. We are interacting with everybody depending on their requirement. Jointly, we are developing the products, and then some of the products, as you have seen, are in market. So this is what I wanted to say, a step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, using the composites based on advanced materials and processes. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for such a enlightening presentation which you have given to our participants on what all the CSIR they are doing in this field, and this is leading. And no doubt, if we work on such a pace, and every one of us in the country work on such a pace, nobody can stop us being not only Atmanirbhar but also move in the direction of becoming a superpower in the coming century. Thank you so very much. And there will be some questions, but that will be taking later on the chat box. So I'm grateful, Dr. Srivastava.
I have a request. If questions can be taken now, because I'll be off. Somehow I got a meeting with headquarters. So
Otherwise, I'll put the question. I'll mail the questions to you.
otherwise, you can send me a list of questions.
Okay, madam, you can allow some question because sir is a busy person, so he'll be leaving. So thank you so much, Professor Srivastava. I think they will take 1-2 question if that is available.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'll be off because of some other reasons. Yeah.
It's okay, sir.
Sir, Srivastava, sir, look, good morning. And I am making the questions. I attended your talk, and then, yeah, I was very much following the topic, and I have already made the questions. I was following your talk.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Sir, there is one question from the participant that why the experts have only worked in the Middle East part of country and not in North, South or West India. So if he thinks that if these schemes are launched in the North, South and West India, then they would have developed at a higher rate.
See, this is a very interesting question, non-technical, non-scientific, but very interesting question. It's like I tried to go since I took over this um, job at Ampli in last 2.5 years. I try to go every part of the country, and I've been interacting with NIT Kurukshetra, then your your this you have a rail coach factory in Kapurthala and the lovely professional university. So these three places I have been there, and we have been interacting. We are quite open to have centers in any academic institute based on our joint interest, collaborative base. We want to open centers to solve certain local area problems. Like as I said, Parali. It's unfortunately so far it's not a problem of Madhya Pradesh, but it's a problem of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, and to some part of UP. So we have been working very hard. We met even the Chief Minister of Haryana, Honorable Shri Khattarji. But the thing is, the same kind of zeal or interest should come up from the other side also. If it is there, we are ready to work together. We are ready to open a joint center in your local region, and we are ready to sort out whatever problems we can solve using our expertise in your area. So this is what I can come. Thank you very much.
So, sir, we really look forward to have a collaboration with you at NITR Chandigarh, because NITR Chandigarh is catering to all such research activities in the northern India. We have the entrepreneurship development cell, we have rural development cell, and so many facilities, the state of art facilities are available in the NITR. So it will be glad, and if director sir and you together we come up with certain collaborative steps to have a center at our institute so that we can cater to the local problems. Director sir, if you want to add something to it.
Yeah, Professor Srivastav has already given this offer last time also. So now it is the faculty member. The intention of inviting him here was to show the participants that there are research laboratories in the country. There are positive directors who are having that open mind and open hands to support you people, come together, collaborate and cooperate, and let's attack the local problem so that we become Atmanirbhar, starting from local to global. So that is the way the things are moving, and definitely NITR Chandigarh is going to be a strong collaborator with Professor Srivastav, because he is very aggressive director, and at the same time he is a very good researcher. He is a very renowned researcher. So that combination is very rare. When you have administrator and both academics and the administration both are strong. So this type of leaders we don't want to miss. At the same time, I give this option to all other participants, because he is very open-minded person. You can be in touch with that lab. Wherever is possible, you can go for a collaboration. In his presentation, he has shown so many fields. Maybe material is his own area, but as you know, in material, unless we do something, this country is just behind, because a weak step in the material science development direction. But this lab is doing wonderful job, and he has touched many areas. You name it: additive manufacturing, mobile, agriculture, everything he is touching. So that gives a lot of scopes to the researchers, and this is what is the ultimate type of collaboration coordination is required in future. Thank you so much, Professor Srivastav, for your time, and we look forward to a better, cohesive, and very strong collaboration with you.
Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to talk here, discuss, and once again I feel sorry that I have to disconnect myself in the middle. But definitely we should keep interacting, and maybe we can formulate team from both the sides, which can interact and come up with some proposal, and then we can again discuss that how to proceed. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.